you check the children? Show a little match sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes. That is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Hey everyone, welcome back to The Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird, and welcome to my completely unbiased review of Never Hike Alone 2. That's right, this review is completely unbiased, even though I have a friendship with Vincent DeSanti, and he helped me make Dylan's New Nightmare. I'm decked out in my Womp Stomp gear. I'm a fan, you guys, and I got on this whole fan film train. Well, I did a fan film in 2016, but seeing Never Hike Alone in 2017 is what really put me on the path for wanting to make something like Dylan's New Nightmare. So I do have to give credit where credit's due. And this year, here on October 13th, 2023, we finally get the conclusion of the Never Hike Alone story. Obviously, that began in the aforementioned Never Hike Alone in 2017, and then Never Hike in the Snow in, I believe, 2020, which ended up being a prequel to Never Hike Alone. This film, Never Hike Alone 2, acts as a sequel to both previous films. So much so, as a matter of fact, that the first part of the film, the first third or so, is catching us up on both of those stories and starting to interweave them. It's really interestingly and well done. And the story, obviously, is going to boil down to Jason chasing down Kyle, the hiker from Never Hike Alone, who has been rescued by Tommy Jarvis at the end of Never Hike Alone. And it blends in aspects of the story that we saw in Never Hike in the Snow, especially starring Sheriff Yabang, played by wonderfully by Vinny Guastafaro. But yeah, so this film was a lot of fun, you guys. My overall thoughts are that if you are a Jason fan, you have to watch this. It's very much in line with the previous two. It is of the studio level, especially when you consider the level of the Friday the 13th franchise. You know, it's not Scorsese, let's say, the Friday the 13th franchise, but Vince has elevated that to a more studio level, in my opinion. And Never Hike Alone 2 is a wonderful blending of everything that he's learned up to this point, speaking of Vince as a writer-director. And so there's aspects of, you know, slower, tension-building filmmaking, as well as the frenetic filmmaking that is necessary with Jason attacks and things like that. So I think that he and his director of photography, Evan, did a wonderful job with the film, and I think all of you guys that are fans are going to really enjoy it, and people just discovering Never Hike Alone, if they somehow watch this before the previous two entries, they're going to have a lot of fun too. So overall, this is a crowd pleaser. It is a conclusion to the story, which is really nice, because, you know, Vin could be playing in this world for many, many years to come, and still could, frankly, if he really wanted to. But it's nice that this is a finale to the story that he has set up with Tommy Jarvis and Kyle the hiker. I'm not sure what Kyle's last name is within the film franchise, but nonetheless, doesn't matter, because he does return. Andrew Leahy, I think. I'm not sure how to say his last name, but I believe that's how it's spelled anyway. But he does a wonderful job returning as Kyle. Of course, we have Tommy Jarvis returning with Tom Matthews, and Vinny Guastafaro reprising his role with the sheriff, and a lot of good fun. We had Doug Tate making an appearance, as well, playing a character, I should say, more than making an appearance. But a lot of fun to be had cast-wise in the film, and it definitely picks up on the story threads from the first two films. You're dealing with a doctor who is the mother of the character played in Never Hike in the Snow by Oddest of the Odd on the YouTube channels. He did an excellent job in that film, and so his mother is trying to find out what happened to his character in said film. And I'm not going to ruin anything that happens in the film. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just giving you the rough overalls here, but there's a lot of surprises in the film too, as to who makes appearances, and all of that good stuff. So yeah, Never Hike Alone 2 does a wonderful job laying out its story. There's that final conflict between Tommy and Jason that we've been looking for many years, and it's a really good time throughout, even getting to that point. Again, this was a combination of the last 3 films that were supposed to be the next 3 Never Hike Alone shorts, and Vince just combined them into a full-length feature once he was able to raise the funds to be able to do so. So that's what we're seeing here, the conclusion to that Never Hike Alone story, and it did a wonderful job. Acting-wise, I think everyone did great. I was actually more impressed with this one than I have been with any of them so far. Not that I was disappointed acting-wise previously, I just think that it was stepped up a bit more in this one as well. Everyone did a wonderful job. No one pulled me out of the film by any stretch, and I had a good time. Even the smaller bit players were engaging and fun to see on screen for the time that they were there. I would say effects-wise, this is going to please a lot of people. There was definitely predominantly practical effects, but there were some CG enhancements at times. I don't know if everyone's going to be able to notice those, but I did at certain times. But again, I just spent time putting together a film, and I was keenly aware of CG aspects when I was doing that as well. So I'm a little more, my eye is a little more trained for it right now because it's fresh. But nonetheless, nothing pulled me out of it. I could just tell that there was a little enhancement here and there. But again, a lot of you may not be able to tell, and it is predominantly practical effects, which is a great time. Obviously, these 80s slashers brought into new eras, I think they thrive on practical effects, and this one is no different. Filmmaking-wise, like I said, Vince has stepped up his game yet again. Now it's a nice mixture of the more patient storytelling that we tried to do in, Dylan's New Nightmare, as well as the more frenetic stuff that you got in the found footage side of things with Never Hike Alone. There's some freneticism. There's even a little bit of the found footage to be found in the film as well, just not a ton, and that's fine. The story plays out just fine, and it is used when needed and when appropriate, but overall the filmmaking was top-notch. Once again, Vince has proven that if you put the time and money and effort and passion into a fan film project, it can be just as good, if not better, than any number of Hollywood projects that already exist. And, that's all Vince can do, is continue to try and improve on what he's done before, and I think he very much has with Never Hike Alone 2. So if you guys are excited about it, let me know in the comments down below. If you've already seen it by the time you see this review, which I'm guessing a lot of you have, I would love to know your thoughts on the film in the comments down below as well. So thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you to all of our patrons for supporting the channel the way that you do. Thank you to Vince for sending a link early. I greatly appreciate you, good sir, for all of your help on my film, as well as for delivering yet another top-notch product with Never Hike Alone 2. Thank you guys once again for watching. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird, and remember, stay scared.